factually speaking, I have never said anything that is anti-Semitic, and had I have said something that was anti-Semitic, Andrew Klavan would have simply showed the clip.
Alrighty then.
No matter what, anytime you talk about anybody else's pain, Jewish people sort of pop up and suddenly they're like, what about us? What about us? And it's like, it's always been about you. It's literally always been about you.
All I hear all day long at school is how great Marcia is at this or how wonderful Marcia did that. Marcia, Marcia, Marcia.
They experimented on twins. I mean, some of the stories, by the way, sound completely absurd. I feel like the idea that they just like cut a human up and then sewed them back together, that just sounds like bizarre propaganda. If he just wanted to make Germany great and have things run well, okay, fine. The problem is that he had dreams outside of Germany.
Are you insane?
Okay, what is it about Hitler? Why is he the most evil? Well, the first thing people would say is, well, an ethnic cleansing almost took place. And now I offer back, you mean like we actually did to the Germans?
I thought my jokes were bad.
And it's completely ridiculous to say, oh, well, this is happening because of... Let's be very clear. It is happening because the Israeli government will not stop bombing them.
I love how people like to voluntarily forget the barrage of missiles constantly coming over to Israel from Palestine. But because Israel has the technology to protect themselves, aka the Iron Dome, people like to act like it just doesn't happen. I think it was Douglas Murray that said it, like, don't keep attacking someone and then cry when they attack back and you lose the fight. I'm sorry, that's not called genocide. That's called war.
You started with a peroration about me not mentioning casualties. That's because I started by mentioning and there is no law of that says you're allowed to start and then complain when you lose it. And if Mehdi cares, then tell your bosses in Qatar to tell their friends in to stop, give back.
You attack, they attack back, you lose, you cry and play victim. I think Candace Owens can relate to that. You know how Candace Owens is constantly attacking the Jewish community, and then when people call out her anti-Semitism or her blatant lies on historic facts, she cries victim that the Jewish evil cabal is after her.
Like maybe he was not actually a Torah-worshipping Jew. Like, I don't know. I'm just throwing out some ideas here. I am just like so over the idea that Israel is our ally and friend. If another person says that stupid statement, I'm going to personally punch you in the face. Do you have a question about that? You anti-Semite? Don't come at me. Jewish, I'm gonna be like, we don't actually need you in this country. We don't need you in this country. I don't want to get killed. That's not a normal thought process to have. Blame the Zionists, like 1000%.
Can someone please keep this woman off the trending page on X, because it's really sad to see her head first downfall of her potential career she could have had, which I'm referring to Miss Candace Owens. She did a debate with Rabbi Shmuley on Piers Morgan, which I have zero respect for, because the only reason why Candace Owens is literally having a debate with Rabbi Shmuley, because she knows that's the only person she can debate that's going to make her look good. Right? Either she has to debate people who are kind of low IQ idiots and don't know how to actually articulate their points well, or she just go on podcasts where they just let her rant about her and say anti-Semitic tropes, right? People are going to kiss her ass, like her cult-like fan base. So I don't really respect that. Like, I didn't really watch the whole thing because it's like, it's just a clown show. And of course, Piers Morgan is going to platform that because, ratings. But there was a point where I guess she was accused of being a Holocaust denier, and she says she's not. She is. She 100%, a bazillion percent, massively is. Not only is she a denier, she literally has tried her best to make the Nazis, the soldiers, the youth, the Nazi youth, the scientists, all look good. She's attempted to paint them all in a good light. Like, they're not so bad, actually. They just wanted a strong economy.
The Daily Wire parted ways with Candace Owens, and part of it was things that she was saying that we felt were strongly anti-Semitic. And she was doing it in such a way that was kind of hard to pin down. So I was trying to show where these things happen.
Andrew actually rose to the level of defamation when he started claiming that I had actually said things that I had never said. I mean, he flagrantly lies, and I showed that on my platform when he pretended that I did an episode suggesting that Adolf Hitler burning books was a good thing. I wasn't even speaking about Adolf Hitler.
Okay, so apparently Andrew Klavan, like many others, pointed out that she's doing outrageously messed up things, such as,
do you know which books the Nazis were burning? I was shocked that I never learned
throughout that schooling that the brown shirts, the student activists that went around burning a bunch of books, were burning books that they deemed to be Marxist and that they deemed to be overtly sexual.
Yes, the Nazis did not like other political views. That is correct.
The brown shirts were student activists who went around burning a bunch of books. The brown shirts were very famously known not as regular student activists, but as the Nazi paramilitary organization, the Sturmabteilung.
The Storm Division.
Sturmabteilung, the violent paramilitary trying to form a violent militant movement within Germany for the Nazi party, who also went around and conducted several very, very notorious, very well-known acts, killing people, destroying all kinds of property, destroying Jewish shops, burning books, and so on. She just seriously sat there and described these people, the brown shirts, as, the student activists who went around burning books. Let's read what Oxford Reference says here. Member of an early Nazi paramilitary organization, the Sturmabteilung, or SA, Assault Division, the brown shirts recruited from various rough elements of society were founded by Adolf Hitler in Munich in 1921, fitted out in brown uniforms reminiscent of Mussolini's black shirts. They figured prominently in organized marches and rallies. Their violent intimidation of political opponents and of Jews played a key role in Hitler's rise to power. Does it so far sound like these were just a bunch of
student activists?
This is an instance where I would say that this is incompetence, ignorance, more than just her vile, dishonest aspect. Because she doesn't know much. She's actually quite ignorant. She doesn't know very much. She learns things from social media.
She learns things from groypers.
Yeah.
Let's put it that way. And she's acting like they're good guys because among the things they're burning, they're burning Marxist stuff.
Candace Owens. That rotten bitch. She's the worst. I can't think of a worse way to make money. She's the most articulate idiot I've ever seen in my fucking life.
The only reason why Candace Owens brought up the fact that they were burning Marxist books or books that were overtly sexual, because this is a virtue signal to the conservative community. Look, conservatives, the Nazis were just like you. They had the same values and principles as you did. See, Hitler wasn't so bad. The Nazis were the good guys, right? That's if you have a bit of a higher IQ of a rabbit, you can read between the lines, right? Please tell me you can actually read between the fucking lines.
She's like, but look at the things they were burning. What a great job, guys. These great student activists who put Hitler in power.
But the second aspect of it is also that she actually distributes this false pro-Nazi apologist propaganda that the books they were burning were just books that were morally reprehensible. A bunch of Marxist stuff and overly sexual stuff. That is not what happened. We have endless lists and names of books that were actually burned. Lots of different books on medicine, on art, whatever it is, all across the board were burnt. And as said, Jewish books, so books from Jewish authors, were categorically considered for burning and mostly burned. This has nothing to do with just being repulsed by the Marxist and sexual content and then burning them. This is a well-known neo-Nazi, a Nazi apologist propaganda point, which she's repeating here. And to people who are not aware of it, this may sound like, quite innocent, and she's making a moral point here and saying that things weren't actually that bad. And the movement wasn't just a student activist group. It was literally part of the paramilitary, with the inclusion of students.
Where did the idea of a concentration camp come from? The Bolsheviks. The reason why we're not allowed to learn about these people, we don't talk about Henry Gagoda, is because he's a Jew.
What else you got?
Ataturk was Danme. Ataturk came from a region where there was a strong Sabbatian stronghold, and there was an Israeli individual who said, yeah, I met him before he became Ataturk, and yeah, he was Jewish.
You've been obsessing over them for months.
Oh, hi there. My name's Aaron Hill, and I'm the guy that researches how many Jews there are in things. Whenever I find a Jew, I put a Star of David over their photo to indicate that they are Jewish. Think of it like maybe an armband. Some people on the internet call me names or say I'm an anti-Semite because I get some things wrong or am purposely misleading. Sometimes I won't have enough Jews to put on the infographic, so I'll embellish a little bit, like the Jews, and I'll do things like put Steve Jobs on there as a Jew, which is obviously not true, or put Bob Iger of Disney on 12 different times with different versions of his name. It doesn't really matter. People believe it because they're fucking idiots. Some people say, what's the big deal that Jews are overrepresented in things? Surely they're underrepresented in other things. Wouldn't it basically make me a communist to want exact representation in all things? But that's not what I want. I just want there to be no Jews in any things. I also like to independently investigate inaccuracies in Holocaust statistics. And every day when I go to bed, I pray that I could be relieved of this burden of having to count how many Jews there are in things. If you catch my drift, Iran.
And now back to your regularly scheduled program.
I just love how Candace Owens is like, yeah, the Nazis were bad, but they weren't that bad. I swear, it's basically like defending pedos, which she's done. She's actually defended pedos, like convicted pedos, an attempt to defame Tate's accusers, right? So she has actually defended convicted pedos, so it's not unlike her to do so. But it's like defending a pedo and being like, well, he touched children, but he only touched 5. That's the equivalent of trying to, I don't know, be a Nazi apologist.
Is Germany, Nazi, Hitler the greatest evil that's ever happened on Earth, even though factually and statistically, it is not.
I don't get the hill she's deciding to die on, and it is a death. It is a career death. Like, when Nick Fuentes is saying, debate me, bruh, because you're an idiot. When Nick Fuentes is calling you out, when you have to go to Kick, the site for degenerates, to be interviewed by Aiden Ross, who didn't even know who you were, you've hit the lowest of the low, like the bottom of the barrel. Your career is dead. You have no one else to blame but yourself, even though she will definitely blame the Jews. Yes, Piers Morgan will have you on there because he likes to interview trash people, because for ratings, he's a ratings whore. But her career is dead, and that's sad, but it's her own doing, so whatever.
Wait, I'm gonna tell Coven to wear his Jewish chain. Isn't she not like Jews? Tomorrow 6 p.m. for Candace Owens. Cuff'em gotta be the segment. It's the only way I'm doing Candace Owens. Me, Aiden Cuff'em, and Candace Owens. Chat, we doing it? W or L? Only way I'm doing it.
You know, she's throwing out accusations. I'm hearing rumors she's throwing out accusations. And I challenge her to a debate. If she's afraid of me because of her litigation with Daily Wire, then let's have a debate. Fine. I don't support what you're saying anymore. Let's do a debate then.
This is just so dishonest. She's despicable.
Blame the Zionists, 1,000%.
They experimented on twins. I mean, some of the stories, by the way, sound completely absurd. I mean, the idea that they just cut a human up and then sewed them back together. Why would you do that? Literally, even if you're the most evil person in the world, that's a tremendous waste of time and supplies. Just slice a person in half and sew them together. That just sounds like bizarre propaganda.
Mengele, also known as the Angel of Death. He was a notorious Nazi doctor who conducted inhumane medical experiments on prisoners during the Holocaust.
All right, tonight in devastating detail, twin brothers described to our Dana Arshan the experiments performed on them by Mengele's team. And as Dana tells us, the brothers want to make sure the world never forgets.
He didn't save me. He just kept me alive for himself.
Emotions still raw, images of horror still vivid, more than 75 years after Peter Shomagi survived the Holocaust. The 88-year-old, who's now living here in Westchester, New York, was only 11 when he arrived at the Auschwitz concentration camp in July of 1944. The ink is still visible from his prisoner number A17454 that was tattooed on his arm at arrival. That's also when he came face to face with notorious Nazi doctor Joseph Mengele.
Mengele came around and asked for twins. My mother first didn't know what to say. Second time, no. Third time, she said yes. Immediately, 2 adjutants grabbed us. I never even had a chance to say goodbye.
Peter, his twin brother Thomas, their 13-year-old sister Alice, and mother Elizabeth had all unknowingly been in line for the gas chambers when the twins were plucked aside. They never saw Alice or Elizabeth again.
The moment we got into the barrack, the man who was in charge, we asked him, when can I see my mother? The first question. He says, just look outside the flames. And then we understand that we'll never see my mother again.
Joseph Mengele was young, charming, and outwardly pleasant, a facade that masked unspeakable evil. He was known as the Angel of Death, often personally administering the hydrogen cyanide gas to his victims. More than 1 million innocent men, women, and children were murdered in Auschwitz alone. Mengele also conducted medical experiments on prisoners and had a fascination with twins.
60 Minutes Rewind. 50 years ago, at a railroad siding at a killing field called Auschwitz, a German SS officer named Josef Mengele, Dr. Josef Mengele, stood on the platform and with a flick of his finger sent tens of thousands to the gas chambers. Among those arriving on the trains that came in day and night were children. And among those children were twins who were spared the gas chambers only to become fodder for Mengele's medical laboratory. Some he castrated or sterilized. Others had limbs amputated or dye injected into their eyes to see if they would turn blue, all in an effort to produce in a laboratory a master race. One twin used for experiments, the other held as the control.
One day I became extremely ill after a visit to the lab, and I was taken to a barrack that was filled with practically living dead.
So there you are, a living dead person, knowing it.
Well, Mengele came in every morning and every evening, twice a day, with 4 other doctors. And he declared, very sarcastically laughing, "Too bad, she's so young. She has only 2 weeks to live."
Right in front of you.
Right in front of me.
To Mengele, the twins were just tattooed lab specimens. Eva Moses and her twin sister Miriam, no names, just numbers, 7063 and 7064.
He wanted to play God.
Just the mention of his name can send a chill up the spine. In a place full of horror, he was the most feared monster of them all. We're of course talking about the angel of death, Josef Mengele. Although trained as a doctor to preserve life, he brought a sadistic cruelty to the experiments that ended the lives of so many. And his victims of choice, well, they were children.
כל מה שקורה לנו, מה שלא מספרים לאף אחד, אפילו לא לבעלים ולא לילדים, אנחנו בינינו תמיד. זה לא יחיד, זה שנינו ביחד. אני זוכרת שהוציאו אותנו מהקרונות, מלא אססים עם כלבים, המון אנשים, בלגן גדול, וצעקות שמישהו צועק שם צווילינגן, שזה בגרמנית תאומים. אז אמא שלי שאלה מה זה טוב להגיד צווילינגן, אז הוא אומר מה יכול להיות? תגידי. ואחר כך לקחו אותנו לבלוק הזה של תאומים, שהיו שם הרבה תאומים, בכלל לא ידענו שיש כל כך הרבה תאומים. אנחנו שמה ואנחנו מוכנות תמיד, מתי שקוראים לנו, ללכת לניסויים. זה התפקיד של התאומים.
They experimented on twins. I mean, some of the stories, by the way, sound completely absurd. I mean, like the idea that they just like cut a human up and then sewed them back together. Why would you do that? Literally, even if you're the most evil person in the world, that's a tremendous waste of time and supplies. Just slice a person in half and sew them together. That just sounds like bizarre.
Evil scientist, Nazi doctors documented himself out of his own words. That it just didn't make sense. Like, why would somebody just do that? Of all the evils that have been done on this world throughout the human history, that Candace Owens don't believe that psychopaths exist who would just want to torture human beings out of the sake of torturing them, right? It's like when the pro-Palestinians deny the crimes of the terrorists when they literally filmed it and documented themselves. If you are a Candace Owens fan, please let me know in the comment section below so we can all just laugh at you. I think I've even heard people kind of hint that she's now a flat earther. She's gone down the wrong rabbit hole. There's conspiracy, and then there's go fuck yourself conspiracy, like you fucked yourself.
Can you guys imagine being married to me?
No! God, please, no! 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 No!
Yeah, my poor husband, he rolls over, he's like, "What are you reading?" And I feel like a regular wife says something, I don't know, maybe a love series, Nora Roberts, sweeping her away. Me, on the other hand, he rolled over, he asked me, and I said, "Oh, I'm reading a flat earth theory." He's like, why are you reading a flat earth theory? And I'm like, because somebody messaged me on Manect about it, and they included some links, and I'm just reading them. I don't know, I'm just an interested person.
Stop it. Get some help.
No, you're not woke. You didn't escape the matrix. You just joined an anti-Semitic cult, and now you live in an anti-Semitic cult bubble where you guys high-five each other thinking that you found the secrets to life. I believe like Myron or the other guy on Fresh and Fit even brought this up on their Fresh and Fit podcast, which again, if the stupidest people on the planet are now correcting you, you know you've gone down the wrong path. Where he's even brought up like, why are you guys so obsessed with this? And I'll tell you why. Because my enemy of my enemy. This is how you create tribalism. People find the boogeyman that they can blame all of their problems on, and then you create a like-minded cult, right?
There are Jews that are 100% part of the ruling class, 100,000%.
Yeah.
It's just I don't agree that they're the majority. I don't agree.
I have a question. Pointing out who's behind the. No, hold on. This is very important. Pointing out who's behind the scenes, pulling strings. What does that do? Someone please tell me. What does that do?
I guess it just.
Other than make you a target.
No, 100%.
100%. What does that do for the public?
Yeah.
Well, a lot of people probably didn't know that just now, and now they know.
What are they going to do
behind the
What are they going to do with it?
The COVID thing.
What are they going to do with it?
Education is important, bro.
To do what?
It's like a freshman. Not going to have this discussion.
First of all, it's not for knowledge, because most people take that knowledge and they do nothing with it. They don't become self-reliant, self-sufficient. They don't quit their jobs. They don't move out. They don't stop taking all the chemicals that's in our food. They don't take care of themselves health-wise, mentally, spiritually, nothing. This is just a way, oh, now I have another enemy to blame all my problems on. So it's not, for most people, this is not, oh, I'm aware now, I have knowledge, right? And I agree with the other guy who says, like, yeah, there might be some Jewish people who have a lot of control, a lot of money, their fingers in a cookie jar when it comes to the government and policies. However, that's not the majority. And that's why I have a big problem with, oh, it's Israel, it's the Jews. It's just a way to dog whistle the fact that I'm anti-Semitic, and I can sort of say these overarching things to demonize a group or country or state I don't like. Again, I believe in like the higher ups and the 1%, BlackRock, Rockefeller, Rothschilds, the weapons industry, big pharma, food industry, all of those things. But that's not what this is. This is just another victim class who's now victimized themselves, and they think they're the victims of the evil cabal of Jewish people that live underground and have horns or some shit like that.
Well, you said on Twitter on November the 3rd, no government anywhere has a right to commit a genocide ever. There is no justification for a genocide. I can't believe this even needs to be said or is even considered the least bit controversial to state. You didn't say what you were talking about in that tweet, but it was widely assumed to be Gaza and what Israel was doing in Gaza. Is that correct? Were you talking about Israel there?
No, I was talking about Nazis in Germany.
Are you kidding? She actually just said no.
No, actually, when I wrote that tweet, if you look right before that tweet, I had retweeted and liked something from a journalist named Yashar Ali. He had shared a clip of a Congressman, Brian Mast, who got up on a platform and said that there's no such thing as an innocent Palestinian life.
She's not responding to anyone. It's a
standalone tweet.
Yeah, it's a standalone tweet.
So, guys, here she says that she's responding to someone. This is a response to someone else who said there are no innocent Palestinians. Just so everyone knows, I disagree.
Looking through the comments, and literally everyone in the comments perceives this as accusing Israel of genocide. Again, this is a standalone tweet. It's not a response to anything.
So she lied. She lied. Like she's been caught lying many times. What was that thing that Candace Owens said about people who lies or covers up the truth?
Because lies can only be served to protect evil.
Like, why wouldn't she just admit that that's what she stated? Like, why would she have to lie about that? It seems like it's such a minuscule lie to lie about. I think it's probably because then people smarter than her can actually prove her statement wrong. So instead of, saying it with her chest, what she meant, and not backpedaling and lying, she decided to sort of do something. Oh, no, I meant this. I was actually responding to this and not that. Because she doesn't want people to fact check her or what a genocide is versus an actual war. I can't believe people still actually follow her, but again, anti-Semitics are abundant.
Sigmund Freud was a Kabbalist, and they believe in bisexuality. They worship Baphomet. They are trying to use psychology to make their religion the religion of the world, right? Which is a pedophile-centric religion that believes in demons. It believes in child sacrifice.
Wow. Huh? She's something else, man, isn't she?
What we are referring to is a religion that is known as Frankism. It is the preferred religion of the elites, okay? They believe and they worship the devil. They believe that through deception, they will inherit the earth. The ADL was established by Frankists.
There it is.
The Israelis that were working at the World Trade Center who were forewarned of the attack.
Oh, for the love of God.
Kanye West tweeted out, I'm about to go DEFCON 3 on some Jews. If you are an honest person,
you did not think this tweet was anti-Semitic.
Well, thank you.
And people are freaking out. And of course, one of these weird things about when they freak out is they never point out which fact is wrong. They never do that. No, they never say like that person's factually incorrect. They just start calling you names.
5 minutes later.
So you had this guy, Ian Haworth, who's just so mentally unwell. He writes, too many conservatives out there will totally ignore Tucker Carlson nodding along at World War II and Holocaust revisionism and or denial because they want to go on his show. There's a word for that. Whore. Well, there
Did
you
you
go.
catch it?
Listen.
Did you catch it? Did you see what she just did?
Okay, you're.
I don't know. Maybe
There's
she's
no other way to
actually
say
stupid,
it.
or she thinks her audience is stupid by saying, "Oh, anybody who dares to listen to anyone who has an opposing view when it comes to Israel." Or the Jewish community or the historical facts of World War II, then that makes you a whore. That's not what was said, though. What was said is if people like Candace Owens, who will say absolutely anything and pander to whatever community just to be platformed, just to be heard, or just to be paid, that's a whore. Someone who's willing to sell their soul no matter what, just to get on a Tucker Carlson interview, that's a whore. Someone who's willing to sell themselves for money, fame, and exposure, that's a whore. But maybe she purposely tried to trick you into thinking he was meaning something else, so you don't call out her whorish like pandering or grifting, whatever you want to call it. I don't know, it's sad to see, but you cannot talk to people like this. Trust me. They are 100% convinced that they are the smartest people on the planet because most of them are covert narcissists. But let me know what you guys think in the comment section below. Please like, comment, subscribe, hit the bell notification when I do upload. All of that really does help with the algorithm, guys. And if you'd like to support my channel any further, you can donate. My PayPal and Cash App link is in the description box below, in the comment section down below, or you can super thanks. And you guys have an amazing, beautiful day.
I'm reading a flat earth theory.